At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Previously on the Halloween Podcast presents Double Vision. Mason Carter's life is stuck in neutral until a strange infomercial and one too many drinks reveal something terrifying. Twisted doubles of people he knows, including himself. As the visions grow stronger, Mason tries to clean up his act. He gets a job, lays off the booze, and keeps his distance from Dylan. But a night out shatters that progress. A bar fight with a double lands him and Dylan in jail. And when he finally confesses what he's been seeing, Natalie starts to believe him. Now, with the town slipping into chaos, they've done the unthinkable, kidnapped a man with a double, and for the first time, they're speaking face to face with what's been hiding in plain sight. Let's continue. Chapter 7, The Thing Behind the Eyes. The air in the basement shifted the second the double spoke. Its voice didn't match Mr. Jenkins's frail frame. It was too deep, too smooth, like oil sliding over broken glass.
Finally,
it said again, but only Mason heard it. The real Mr. Jenkins sat tied to the chair, blinking, silent, almost catatonic. But behind him, the other version stood, pale, taller, lips curled in something that wasn't quite a smile. Natalie stood near the basement stairs, arms crossed, trying to hide the unease in her eyes. Dylan leaned against the far wall, crowbar in hand, more serious than usual. Mason took a step closer. The bitter aftertaste of Dylan's flask still burned at the back of his throat.
"What are you?"
he asked. The double tilted its head.
"We are the true face of your world,"
it said, eyes unblinking.
"Demons,"
Mason muttered. A grin spread across the double's too wide mouth.
"That's one word for us."
Natalie frowned.
"What's it saying?"
"You can't hear it?"
Mason asked. She shook her head. So did Dylan.
"It's talking,"
Mason said.
"Clear as day."
"I don't see anything but Mr. Jenkins sitting there like a scarecrow,"
Dylan added. Mason turned back to the double.
"Why can I see you? Why only me?"
"You drank,"
the double said, voice like smoke.
"You opened the door."
"To what?"
"To us. We've been coming for a long time, waiting, watching through glass and reflection, through dreams and bad decisions. You gave us a crack. We'll turn it into a chasm."
"You want to take over people?"
Mason said.
"Possess them."
"We want to become them."
The double replied.
"To replace, to ruin, to scream through every mouth until the sky splits. And then, we want to burn with the rest of you."
Natalie shivered at the tone in Mason's voice.
"Mason, what's it saying?"
He turned slowly.
"It wants to destroy everything. Us, the world, itself."
The air seemed to grow colder. Dylan took a cautious step forward.
"I still don't see."
He froze, His face went pale. Natalie gasped, because they both saw it now. The double, as if it had just flickered into existence for them, peeling itself from behind Mr. Jenkins like a second shadow.
What the hell?
Dylan whispered. Natalie took a shaky step back.
That wasn't there before.
The double grinned wider.
The veil is thinning.
Mason stared at it.
Why now? Why can they see you?
You're not the only one cracking.
It replied.
The glass is breaking everywhere.
And then, from upstairs, the TV turned on. The sound floated down through the floorboards, distant and too cheery.
Do demons lurk in your laundry room? Are your neighbors acting strange? You, my friend, need the Demon Slayer Deluxe Kit.
The double jerked as if struck. It twisted toward the ceiling, a snarl forming at the edges of its grin.
No.
It hissed.
That voice.
Dylan looked up.
Is that damn infomercial again?
Mason watched the double stumble back, its form twitching like static.
Why is it reacting to that?
The demon crouched, covering its ears.
She speaks through it.
It spat.
We are not meant to hear her.
Dylan's eyes widened.
You're telling me that stupid carnival commercial is freaking out a literal demon?
The voice on the TV laughed.
Call now. Operators are standing by. Fight the darkness with light and a free bonus exorcism spritz.
The double dropped to its knees and trembled. Then the TV cut to static. The thing in the basement stood slowly, swaying like a tree in a storm. Its smile had vanished.
That voice shouldn't exist.
It whispered. And then Mason's phone rang. Natalie pulled it from her coat pocket.
It was in my bag, from the bar.
The screen said unknown number. Mason answered.
Hello?
Hello again, Mason.
Said Lillian's calm, knowing voice.
You've made contact. You're ready now.
Chapter 8. Her voice in the static. He swallowed hard, glanced at the others, then tapped the speakerphone icon.
You're on speaker,
he said.
There's something here with us. It's listening.
There was a pause. Then Lillian's voice sharpened, just slightly.
Good.
Natalie stood near the stairs, arms tight across her chest. Dylan was motionless beside the tied-up Mr. Jenkins, eyes locked on the thing behind him. The double had retreated into the shadows of the basement, twitching and flickering like a weak signal barely holding its shape. Lillian continued.
It's not just Grayford. They're everywhere. You've seen the ones who've merged, the ones who've lost control.
They're demons,
Mason said.
Yes, in a way. Parasitic shadows, born of hate, madness, grief, and fear. They're not from hell. They're from you, from all of you.
Natalie stepped forward.
Then why couldn't we see them before?
Because your minds are whole.
Lillian replied.
You two, Natalie and Dylan, you're emotionally intact. You're protected by your stability.
Dylan laughed under his breath.
Wow, didn't see that coming.
They only slip in through cracks.
Lillian said.
Despair, addiction, trauma, those are their doorways. That's how they found Mason, in the drink.
Mason's hands curled into fists.
So I'm their target,
he said.
No,
She replied.
you're their host, but also their enemy.
Mason blinked.
What do you mean?
Look in the mirror, Mason, right now.
There was a dusty, standing mirror in the corner of the basement, half covered by an old sheet. He walked toward it, pulled the cloth away, and looked. There he was, pale, bloody lip, eyes sunken from too many sleepless nights. And standing just behind him was himself. A second Mason, same clothes, same tired expression. But there was something in the eyes, something that hated him. The double didn't mimic his movements. It stood still, watching, waiting. Natalie stepped up behind him and gasped.
You can see it now?
He asked. She nodded slowly.
Why is it there?
Mason whispered.
Because it's been trying to take you for weeks.
Lillian said through the phone.
Since the first time you drank from that flask, you opened a door wide enough for it to crawl through.
Then why hasn't it taken me?
Because you're fighting it.
She said.
You're stronger than most. Most people, they invite the voice in. They hand over the wheel.
He stared into the reflection, and the double smiled, just like it had in the bathroom mirror the first night this all began. Mason looked away.
What do they want?
Natalie asked.
The doubles?
To become the dominant self.
Lillian said.
Once they take over a host completely, they're free to act. That's when the violence starts, the madness. They don't want to rule. They want to erase.
And you?
Mason asked.
What are you?
There was a pause. Then,
A line of defense, one of many. There are people like you across the country, people who've seen them, fought them, resisted the merge.
Dylan cleared his throat.
So, what's the plan? We got one tied to a chair. Do we exercise it with a mop and a bottle of tequila?
The one you have,
Lillian said, her tone darkening.
it's already partially merged. The longer it exists, the stronger it becomes. Don't let it linger.
Mason turned toward the double behind Mr. Jenkins. It was listening, grinning, like it knew exactly how much time it had left.
What do we do?
He asked.
You need answers.
Lillian said.
And now that the others can see, now that the glass is cracking, you don't have long. By the way, your transaction has been complete. Your kit is now delivered.
The phone clicked. Call ended. Mason stared at the dark screen, Lillian's last words echoing in his head. Don't let it linger. He looked up at the demon, the double behind Mr. Jenkins. Its smile still frozen in place, though the thing's eyes shifted now, darting between them like it knew something had changed.
She said it's partially merged,
Natalie said, voice low.
that it gets stronger the longer it stays.
Yeah,
Mason replied.
but how do we get it out?
Dylan lifted the crowbar slightly.
Want me to beat it out?
No,
Mason said.
that thing's not really there. You saw it earlier. Jenkins doesn't even move when it talks.
The real Mr. Jenkins still sat limp in the chair, blinking slowly like someone coming out of anesthesia. He mumbled to himself now, eyes unfocused, sweat beading at his hairline. Natalie knelt next to him.
Mr. Jenkins, can you hear me?
He didn't respond, just muttered something under his breath.
Do you think he knows what's happening?
She asked. Mason looked at the double.
I think it's hiding in him, like a parasite.
The demon grinned wider.
I can hear you.
It said. Dylan rolled his eyes.
Yeah, and you're about to hear this.
He said, swinging the crowbar directly through the thing. It passed clean through. No effect. Mason backed away.
There's gotta be something. The infomercial made it flinch. Something about that voice.
Maybe the voice carries some kind of, I don't know, spiritual frequency?
Natalie guessed. Mason paced.
Lillian said they come through cracks, through trauma, regret. I think they feed off weakness. They get in when we give up.
He stopped, turned toward Jenkins.
What if we don't let him give up?
Natalie blinked.
You want to talk him out of a possession?
It's not like we've got holy water.
Mason muttered. He knelt in front of Mr. Jenkins and gripped his shoulders gently.
Mr. Jenkins, I need you to fight.
The old man groaned.
You've got something inside you.
Mason continued.
It's not who you are. It's trying to push you out. You have to push back.
A twitch in Jenkins's face. His lips moved.
Cold.
You can fight it.
Mason said, louder now.
You have to. Or it wins.
The double flinched again, just slightly, like a flame flickering under wind. Dylan leaned in.
Keep going.
Natalie moved to Jenkins's side, took one of his hands.
You taught half this town.
She said softly.
You're stronger than this thing. Push it out.
I'm
Jenkins mumbled.
not ready.
The double screamed, but the sound didn't come from its mouth. It came from Jenkins. The real man lurched forward, mouth open in a howl that wasn't human. His body shook violently, cords straining against the chair. Black fluid spilled from the corners of his eyes like ink bleeding through paper. The double began to tremble, its edges flickering faster now. Mason didn't stop.
You're not done, Mr. Jenkins. You're you.
And then, with a final spasm, Jenkins gasped, and the double let out a choked hiss and vanished. Gone. No fade out, no smoke, just gone. Jenkins collapsed forward, breathing heavily, tears mixing with whatever black ichor remained on his cheeks. They were all silent for a long time. Then Dylan finally exhaled.
Okay, so that happened.
Natalie knelt beside Jenkins.
He's breathing. He's conscious.
He's free.
Mason said quietly. He looked at the empty corner where the double had stood. And for the first time since this began, he felt like they had done something right. But that victory was already fading. Because if Jenkins had one, how many others did too? Thank you for listening to the Halloween Podcast Presents. If you're enjoying these tales of fright, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you have any questions, comments, or want to suggest a story idea, send us an email at thehalloweenpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the show, head on over to our website, thehalloweenpodcast.com, and pick up some podcast merch. You can also download the entire audiobook now, as well as all our other stories. Join us again next week as we continue our tales. Until next time, this is Lyle Perez saying, have a good night